evening. If you were to sit down with any one person in this room, they would have a story to share. Life rarely turns out the way we originally dreamed it would. And grief is all a part of the human experience. The circle of life does not keep us immune from ever going through heartache. In all of this, though, we've all experienced something else, and it's hope. Hope is the light that dawns after devastation. It's the thing that can turn the whole story around. It's one of my favorite topics, finding beauty in tragedy, and that's what I get to share with you all tonight about. For me, it started 5 years ago when life turned for the unexpected. I learned that I would be the parent of a blind child. My husband Adam and I had never even known anyone personally who was blind, and now we are faced with parenting one. But the Anchor Center was our hope. Tonight I want to share with you a glimpse of how they do it. 2 years ago I got to share with you my journey from when Hallie was just a little baby, and my story of how I had to leave her for the first time at the Anchor Center going to preschool. I never anticipated how hard it would be to leave the Anchor Center now that she's a graduate. So this last year, they tried to wean us from the Anchor Center by sending us to our neighborhood preschool 2 days a week, and the Anchor Center the other 2 days. So, it came with a lot of fear and anticipation. This would be Hallie's first experience in a typical classroom with sighted kids. So, of course, the first couple days were met with, that kind of awkward time, that silence from everyone. Everyone's being polite and not really asking questions, but staring, a lot of staring. And we had to line up outside of the classroom door, and Hallie is not okay with just people being quiet and lining up nicely. So she is going down the row of people, meeting everyone and introducing herself. She was so excited. And I should tell you, I have a 4-year-old son who is always getting into something. And so I was busy tracking him down, and Hallie was meeting Emma's mom. And so I come back to Hallie greeting Emma's mom. And I should, tell you that Emma's mom is quite a bit shorter than I am. So where Hallie would typically reach up to find my stomach was Emma's mom's chest. And so here she is patting, saying loudly, "Emma's mom, you have twins in your tummy!" So, think about it, yeah. That day we learned a very valuable lesson that twins are in fact one lump, not two. The Anchor Center didn't teach Hallie that. Yeah. So in all seriousness, the Anchor Center has taught Hallie so much more, so many life lessons. I believe the first reason that the Anchor Center gives so much hope is that they focus on the human potential despite a disability. From the very first time, the very first visit that we were at the Anchor Center to the last, we were given hope of what Hallie would be able to do. Amy Mullen said, "Everyone has something rare and powerful to offer our society, and that the human ability to adapt is our greatest asset." Adapting, one of the first lessons. Something that makes most people feel uncomfortable. We all like routine, typical, predictable. It's safe. Adapting requires thinking outside the box and focusing on the new solution. Eric Weinmeier, the first blind man to summit Mount Everest, he was also on the Anchor Center Advisory Board, said, "People get trapped into thinking about just one way of doing things. The Anchor Center has thought outside of the box. and gives blind children the opportunity to understand concepts around them. So, for example, a sighted child can easily watch a videotape of a penguin sliding across the ice and learn how they do it. Or a sighted child could look in a book and see a fire truck and learn a load of information from just that one picture. For a blind child, though, they have to experience it and see it differently. And so at the Anchor Center, this last year, we went ice skating, and we pretended as if we were penguins gliding across the ice. And fire trucks became tangible and touchable, not just this blaring siren that's scary going past. Chefs of a pizzeria came to life as we saw the pizza process from start to finish while pretending to be a real chef. Concepts like life stages are broken down from birth to adulthood, and they're understood beyond just a picture of a person at a certain age. Gardens and the horticulture experience come to life as from seeds to full-grown plants. Things were smelled, felt, heard, explained, and understood. Hallie's understanding of the world around her, though different, is something sometimes even more wonderful and beautiful than her peers. Hallie has had a community that's believed in her potential ever since she was a baby. The most important people in her life have not cast shadows on her abilities. They've given her the opportunity to shine. They have inspired her to be curious about our world, and she is. She already knows the 50 Nifty United States song, and she wonders why we haven't been to all of them yet. At age 5, Hallie is already a linguist. And at the Anchor Center, all of the staff has picked up on her gift, and anyone who knows any foreign language has taught her something. And she's remembered it all. She knows greetings and phrases in French, Spanish, Dutch, Ojibwe, Japanese, German, and her favorite, Mandarin Chinese. And not only that, she's mastered accents from all regions. She can do an English accent while having tea and crumpets. She knows how to speak in northern Wisconsin, like where I'm from, don't you know? She's got her southern accent down, especially if she wants to have some pecan pie grits. Australia, New York, and Canada are only a skip away in her mind. I've often picked Hallie up from the Anchor Center and heard some of the teachers speaking with a new accent. They've given Hallie confidence in her abilities. Hallie is the Pied Piper in our neighborhood. We'll walk around the block, and kids come flocking out of their houses to greet her. She's always confidently greeting them with a smile and a hug and a happy dance. She loves meeting new people, and I think most of you met her tonight. At the end, she was a little bit tired, though. She was saying goodbye to some people and not hello, so I apologize about that. But she really is one of the most fun people to hang out with. She has a quick wit and a surprising humor that makes anyone laugh. She's so creative and imaginative that whatever she's doing is fun. People want to be a part of the ideas that she comes up with. The longer you hang out with her, the easier to forget that she's blind. Her huge personality outshines her inability to see. I've often thought, what if the Anchor Center were to limit what these kids and my Hallie were to do? We would miss out on a totally new perspective on life, and our society would suffer. This summer, Hallie has become self-aware. She's begun asking questions like, what does blind mean? She realized it's a word that describes her just like tall and blonde. I quickly tell her that she will do the same things as other kids, just differently. She will read, but instead of reading print, she'll get to read with her hands. And she has the ability to read even if the lights are turned off. It's a super magical, special gift that not even sighted people can do. Hallie gets to feel the ground with her cane and shows her where to go. It's a tool for her independence. Blind means that Hallie has a special gift to listen and feel someone else's heart by seeing them through the eyes of her own. There's a man from our church that loves Hallie because he says that she makes him feel younger than ever. He comes alive around her because she doesn't know what his old body looks like. She just likes him for his funky personality. Helen Keller said, "The most beautiful things in this world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart." The Anchor Center doesn't see blindness as a limitation, more like an obstacle. Just like the president of the NFB said of his best of his own kids, "I am glad that my children are growing up with the understanding that blindness, like many other human characteristics, should not be assumed a limitation." This quote is very true in the eyes of my almost 4-year-old son, Carter, who I told you about earlier. He was really, really sad that he didn't get to go to the Anchor Center for his preschool. But this summer, it's been great because he's gotten to participate in the activities of summer school just with all of the other siblings. And sometimes he'll take his golf club, his toy golf club, and use it like a white cane so that he can be like the other kids at school. And so back to the idea that he doesn't see blindness as a limitation. At summer school, there was a blind volunteer and hadn't met Carter before, and so he asked Carter, "Are you blind?" And Carter, after being asked that question, looked up at me with these bulging eyes, and he's saying, "Mom, am I?" Because really, he wanted to learn Braille too. So, through the eyes of this 4-year-old, his sister's blindness is just something that is a part of her and not who she is. If we could all be so eager to be like him. I'm almost done. Amy Mullins, who spoke the first quote I shared with you about the human potential, is a huge inspiration to me. You might have heard of her. She was born without shin bones and had to be amputated from the knee and below. And now she is an advocate for the human potential. Her most famous speech explains that the thesaurus definition of disabled is crippled, helpless, weak, handicapped, wounded, weakened, useless. But Amy redefines this word. She says disabled means to crush a spirit. Disabled means to withdraw hope. It means to deflate curiosity, to promote an inability to see beauty, and to deprive the imagination. When you think about who is really disabled in the light of this new definition, there is not one single child at the Anchor Center that could be labeled with this term. Instead, because of the magic that happens in this place, where children are viewed as having something rare and powerful and unique, Anchor Center kids offer life and spirit. They give hope. They're filled with curiosity and have some of the most beautiful imaginations, quite the opposite of the dictionary's definition. And by you being here tonight, you too are a part of this story of hope. You are rallying around the Anchor Center and proclaiming the idea that the world can look a little brighter to families that are faced with tragedy. You are saying, "I believe in the human potential too. I believe in hope and that people do have a significant role in society, no matter what lot in life they received." You are standing up to the opinion that some people are lesser or unable, and standing for an opinion that says every precious life matters. There is purpose in tragedy. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Because of all of you, I have been given hope and a future for my daughter. And not only that, I represent one of many, many families that you have all blessed. And so again, with my sincerest gratitude, thank you.